What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about my 3 best ways to wholesale real estate with little to no money. Let's get started. Number 1, probate. Now, probate is the process of handling an estate of a deceased person. And typically, when that estate is handled, there is usually an asset within that estate. And that asset, in most cases, is a house or a home. Now, whenever someone's handling the estate, there is what's called a personal representative that's appointed by the court or appointed by the family to handle the estate. And typically, that is a family member of the person that passed away, or a very close friend of the person that passed away, or in some cases, an attorney. Now, your job is to get in touch with that personal representative, because you're going to buy that property and get it under contract so you can wholesale it. Now, how do you get this information? The beauty is that it's free. It's all public information. So all you have to do is go into your computer, Google your county's Register of Wills or your county's probate office, and drive on down there and speak to the administrator and let them know that you're a real estate investor and you're interested in getting the contact information of probate estates. Now, in most cases, they're going to show you how to do this. Now, when you get this information, it's very important that you get a few pieces of information so that you can get to the next step. And that information is, 1, you want to get the property address of the person that passed away. Number 2, you want to get the personal representative's name. You also want to get, number 3, the personal representative's contact information. So in some states, they'll have the personal representative's phone number. In some states, they'll just have their address. Now, if you just have their address, you can get their phone number by skip tracing. Or in skip tracing, if you don't know what that is, that's the process of extracting phone numbers from someone based on their name and their address. That's all it is. And it's very inexpensive. It costs about 10 to 20 cents per skip trace. So it's not that expensive. Now, if you do have the phone number, what you want to do is you want to pick up the phone and you want to call that person. And the other option is to send a mailer, but sending mail is something that can cost a lot of money. And in my opinion, you have to mail someone between 3 to 6 times just to get them to respond to you. The reason I like calling leads is because that's the quickest way to get to a yes or a no. So after you get the person's phone number, you're going to give them a call and you're going to say something like this. Hi, my name is Vernon Bond. I'm a real estate investor here in Washington, D.C. and Maryland, and I buy anywhere from 3 to 5 properties a month. Now, I know you're the personal representative of the estate of the deceased person, and I'm just calling to see if you're interested in selling the property, or if the family plans on selling the property, because I'm interested in buying it. And they're either going to say yes, they're going to say maybe, or they're going to say no. Now, you can work with a yes and you can work with a maybe. If they say no, just move on to the next lead. But if they say yes or if they say maybe, then what you want to do is say, great, how soon can I see the property? And now you have an appointment to see the property. So that is just one free way, or not free, but very inexpensive way to get leads. Now, probate, in my opinion, is the best way to get leads, because
motherfucking
Now, in my opinion, probate is one of the best ways to get leads, because 1, is very cheap and very inexpensive, and at the same time, you're usually dealing with someone who does not want to deal with the property. In most cases, they're going to sell the real estate. So if you already know they're going to sell the real estate, then that means you need to get in contact with them. So that's why probate is my number 1 way to wholesale real estate with little to no money. Now let's get into number 2.
Alright, y'all, so now I'm in my vehicle. And the reason I'm in my car is because the number 2 way to find wholesale leads with little to no money is to drive for dollars. Now, driving for dollars is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to be driving around looking for distressed and or vacant properties. Now, distressed and vacant properties are houses that have a few characteristics, like high grass, broken windows or boarded up windows, a lot of stickers on the front door, if the mailbox has a lot of mail stuffed inside, if there are broken down cars in the back or in the driveway. You want to be looking for houses that meet this criteria, because these houses are distressed and more than likely are a pain for the homeowner. So you want to find these properties and you want to reach out to these homeowners. Now, before you start driving for dollars, you want to do one thing, and this is where you're going to spend a little bit of money. You're going to download an app, and this app is called the Deal Machine app. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Now, in this app, the app allows you to get property information and homeowners information on the properties that you're driving by. It actually follows you around, and you can actually get the homeowner's name and the homeowner's address while you're at the property. Now, you're going to want to save this information because you're going to skip trace this information. So let's go find some properties. And Alright, y'all, so we found a property that looks vacant. As you can see, the property has a bright green sticker on the door, and typically that's a sign that the city has deemed the property vacant and non-occupied. Now, also, you can see the mail has piled up at the front door, and there's actually mail on the front stoop. So that tells you someone probably does not live here. Now, after you get the property information, what you're going to want to do is you're going to save the information in your Deal Machine database. Now, when you save it in your database, you can go into your computer, you can pull it out of your database, and you can skip trace the person's information. Now, Deal Machine is going to tell you if the property is owned by a bank or if it's owned by a homeowner and where that homeowner lives. Now, if that homeowner's address is different from the property address, then that tells you that the homeowner is a non-owner occupied homeowner. That means that they own this property, but they do not live here. And as you can see, it looks distressed, so they may have some motivation to sell the property. So you're going to skip trace that homeowner's information, and you're going to call them. Now, Deal Machine does allow you to actually send mail from the app, but I actually don't send mail. It is expensive, and it also takes quite a bit of time to get the homeowner to get back to you. So what I like to do is just skip trace and actually call them, because remember, calling the person is the quickest way to get to a yes or a no. So when you call the homeowner, you're going to say something like this. Hi, my name is Vernon Bond. I'm a real estate investor here in Washington, D.C. I was driving by a property I think you may own. The property looked like it was a little distressed or may even be vacant. The property address is property address, and I'm interested in buying the property. Have you thought about selling it? Now, they're going to either say yes, they're going to say maybe, or they're going to say no. Again, if they say yes or maybe, then you just say, great, how soon can I see the inside of the property? Because I am very, very interested. And now you have another appointment. So that's why driving for dollars is my number 2 way to wholesale properties with little to no money. Now let's go home and let's go talk about the next strategy to wholesale properties with little to no money. All right, y'all, so we're back at the house, and it's time to talk about the third and final way to find wholesale leads with little to no money. Now, the third way to find these properties are only through your cities or your counties or your state's tax delinquent list. Now, tax sale is just the process of your city or your state selling properties that have not paid their property taxes. Now, the first thing you want to do is find out if your state is a tax lien state or if it's a tax deed state. Now, for example, Baltimore City, in my market, is a tax lien state. So what that means is, if a homeowner fails to pay their property taxes, they will sell the property's lien at tax sale. And the investor that buys that lien will charge the homeowner interest on that lien until they pay it back. Now, if they don't pay it back after a certain amount of time, then they can foreclose on the homeowner. That's a tax lien example.
Now, Washington, D.C., which is my primary market, is a tax deed state. So what happens is if you owe property taxes and you don't pay your property taxes, D.C. will sell your property at tax auction every July, and you'll lose your property. Now, the reason you want to know the difference is because the two will dictate the motivation that the homeowner has. In a tax lien state, the homeowner has a long redemption period to when they can actually pay the lien off before they lose their home. In a tax deed state, if you don't pay your property taxes by the time of the auction, you will lose your home. So the reason you want to know the difference is because you want to focus on the areas that have a tax deed state. Now, how do you find this list? Now, this list, just like the probate list, is public information. So what you want to do is go in Google and look up your state's or your county's or your city's tax sale list. Now, in most cases, you'll probably find it online. Now, if you can't find it online, what you want to do is go to your city's Office of Tax and Revenue and find an administrator or an employee that works there and just ask them, hi, my name is Vernon Bond and I'm looking for the tax sale list that the city publicizes every year. And they'll advise you where to find it. Now, once you get that list, you want to treat it just like any other list. Just like it's the probate list or just like it's your vacant house list that you use Deal Machine for. You're going to contact that list and you're going to say something like this. Hi, my name is Vernon Bond. I'm a real estate investor. I buy about 3 to 5 properties here in Washington, D.C. every month. And I'm actually reaching out to you about the property address. And I also specialize in tax delinquent properties. I'm interested in buying the property. Have you thought about selling? And they're either going to say yes, they're going to say maybe, and they're going to say no. One of the three. And like I said, you can work with the yes and you can work with the maybes. And if they say yes or maybe, then you set the appointment to see the property, and boom, now you have an appointment to see a property. Now, let's recap. We talked about probate, we talked about driving for dollars, and we also talked about tax liens properties. All 3 of those strategies don't require much money. Specifically probate and tax lien list. Neither one of those cost you any money. Now, the reason I made this video is because I get a lot of people asking me how to invest in real estate without spending much money. And the problem is a lot of investors, especially new investors, they lose a lot of money investing thousands of dollars into setting up their investment operation or their wholesaling operation. And that's one of the worst things you can do. If all you have is $1,000, you should not be spending that money. You should spend 1,000 hours doing exactly what I just told you in this video. And I'm telling you out of first-hand experience. 7 years ago when I started my real estate career, I spent the first 30 days building this whole operation. I set up systems, I set up processes, I set up websites, I ordered business cards, I even had my car wrapped in We Buy Houses emblems. And after the first 30 days, I think I spent over $5,000. And I did 0 deals. And after another 30 days, I got frustrated and I quit. Because I had spent all this money, all this time, and I didn't think it was worth it. But if I had just focused on the little things, the things that I just mentioned in this video, if I had went down to the probate office and learned the probate process, if I went driving for dollars and started calling the homeowners to buy their properties, if I had went down to my Office of Tax and Revenue and got the tax delinquent list and called those homeowners, I would have gotten a deal. Now, I said all of these things, but none of these things are not going to work if you do not have consistency. You definitely want to be consistent with whatever strategy you do. In my opinion, you should choose one strategy and be consistent with it for at least 3 to 6 months. You need to dedicate anywhere from 3 to 6 months to any given strategy. Because what's going to happen is 1 month you're going to try probate and then you're going to quit. Then the next month you're going to drive for dollars and then you're going to quit. And then the next month you're going to do tax sale and then you're going to quit. But you didn't dedicate enough time to any one strategy. This game is all about consistency. So hopefully you all will take heed to my advice, learn one of these strategies, and eventually grow into the next one. And you can actually wholesale with less than $1,000. Matter of fact, you can do any strategy for 6 months and spend less than $500. But it's up to you to dedicate the time and the consistency to this business. All right, y'all. Peace out.